Come into school early, check all the systems, make sure that no one needs help setting up for the day. I check the most recent data that came up on OSAT. I go around the school and make sure that all of the signs are still up. Any adjustments that had to be made with classrooms missing materials or not being well labeled, I'll adjust. Then the core members come in and I like to be at the door to greet them. I give them about 10 minutes and then I go around and check their attendance, make sure everyone's here, which actually I have to remember to go put in right now.
Throughout the day, a lot of my role is, at least after week one, when setup is all done, is making sure my systems are maintained, going into classrooms and taking video, sitting in on CS sessions or CMA sessions, and providing extra support there.
Also just like making sure that the culture of my school is like where we want it to be and have envisioned, like with my SD. So like interacting with core members, like asking how their day went is like really important because it's a different perspective coming from me than it is like coming from a CMA or a CS or a SD. So that's kind of, and then sessions, and then go back and you print more stuff.
I think the biggest thing was just all the unknowns, that not having any point of reference other than other people's experiences. I didn't have any of my own experience to draw on. Whether that was ideas of things to do for my team or how to react in certain situations. Just talking to everyone else on staff. Somebody usually knows the answer, so if you reach out.
I think the biggest challenge I faced this summer is probably, I keep saying the heat, but I have to say it again. So currently we are in the early childhood building, and like we've had to move most of our sessions and most of our classrooms over here because it is air conditioned, and so making that move and making that transition smoothly has been very difficult, especially with us not knowing on a day-to-day basis whether we're going to be here or whether we're going to be at the other school across the street. So that has been very challenging. It's also hard to keep morale up when people are hot. And so making sure that we feel comfortable as a school team and that like everybody is on a positive note and we're still all working towards the same outcomes and objectives.
So I'm kind of interested in like how you like responded to the morale thing with the heat. Could you elaborate on like how that went for you?
I bought popsicles.
Okay.
That's one thing. I think letting people know that you are aware of the situation and are doing your best to solve the problem is always the most important. So our first week, we bought 2 air conditioning units. They didn't work. But the fact that we bought them and attempted to install them and attempted to make, a cooler environment showed people that we cared. So.
Little kids and managing my classroom is in many ways similar to managing a school site, like on different levels, obviously, but like knowing the schedule of your day, knowing how to kind of keep everyone on track is really important to some position, and then being flexible, which I think it comes with being a classroom teacher. Like things are always changing, and like things are always changing at school sites. So knowing how to react to those changes in a way that's like very calm and collected, because other people are looking to you as an example for how to deal with those changes.
Teaching part has helped me just in the sense that like I know what teachers need to be done on the operations side so that they can be successful in their classroom. So I know like what things that weren't taken care of when I was a teacher or things that were taken care of when I was a teacher that really helped me be more effective in the classroom.
So most useful, hands down, is the rest of the SOM team, which includes the other 12 SOMs, which includes Maggie and Joseph, our SBOTs, and definitely includes our DSO, Josh. It's just a whirlpool of information. So like the number of emails that were going back and forth at week 0 as people were like, do we have this? Yes, it's here. Do we have this? No, we don't. Oh, here, I made it. Made for this really intense collaboration that made everyone's lives easier.
It's important for like incoming SOM streamers, like like you actually do have a leadership position. Like, I mean, it's more logistical, but it's a big leadership position as well. And like to take ownership of that leadership, because I think if like you push your SD to show like that you can have those conversations, that you can do like those have a leadership role, then I think they'll empower you to have more of that role, which I'm really fortunate with my SD to have that. And I think it's made our schools better for that, because I'm not seen as just like someone who puts up signs, but someone who is like actively like perpetuating our like vision for our school. And I think that's like really important.
Ask for help when you need it. To not be afraid to like ask questions and ask for SBOC support or ask for support from the DSO, or to even just ask for support in like managing up conversations with your SD, because they'll have to happen, and to just be willing to recognize that you might need someone other than yourself sometimes.
Buy a lot of clothes that are flowy so that you don't sweat as much. I think my biggest advice would be, and I myself was very skeptical about this, but like action plan. Those action plans are so helpful, because you have so many things you have to take care of on a daily basis, and so many little things that you have to remember, that like having an action plan and knowing what exactly you are going to do in a day is so helpful. And even though I pushed back on that a little bit in the beginning, I'm coming to see how useful and how helpful that is.
I intentionally, when I'm planning out my days, I'm usually only filling up the morning with actual action plan steps, because I know that those will end up getting bumped into the afternoon because of just things coming up.
Breathe and relax and know that week 0, like the world's not going to end. Like you're going to make it through week 0 and week 1. And just be ready to be flexible with any challenges that come up once you get to your schools, because I think you have a very specific idea of you start planning during week 0 about what your school sites are going to look like, how you're going to do all of this, set up all these systems that you're preparing, and it might not work when you get to your school site. So that flexibility that we talk about a lot is actually pretty important.
Court member said, like, you look like you don't take any blank S word. And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, how can I be like that? And I was like, you have to channel your inner Lisa. I don't know what to tell you. Like, just realizing that, like, I feel like I'm walking around the school, I'm observing, giving feedback. I'm just putting up bulletin boards. I'm just putting up signs. I'm just talking to children in the hallway. I'm just trying to build relationships with court members and staff, but it's like so much more than that, and you realize that when it's like through conversations, when they just come to the TFA office, sit down, have coffee, and like just talk to me. It's like my favorite thing every day.
The highlight is being back with kids, because they're so cute. I work at a school that's teaching 3rd, 6th, and 8th grade. So the 3rd graders are going into 4th grade, which is the kids that I'll be getting in a couple weeks. So it's just been really exciting to work with them a little bit, and to also like know a little bit about their progress and be able to help core members in that way of like expectations and things like that.
I hope everyone says this, the people. Like, I adore getting to work with the Psalms, and they've been there not only professionally but also like personally as a support network, and that's been really important. It's really inspiring to get to work with the incoming core members, because on the one hand they are so full of promise, and you see them absorbing, and you see them in the classroom, and you're like, oh, I want to help you, but then you see them growing, and it's very exciting, and getting to remind them sometimes of how strong they actually are, because I think you can start to question so much when you go into the classroom for the first time, that I feel like I've had a lot of conversations with people about, well, tell me about what you were really good at before you came to teaching, or before you came to institute, and getting to hear where they come from and what they've already done, and then being able to be one of those people who says, okay, you might not see the immediate applicability of that to teaching, but you're going to be great. Like, you're going to be phenomenal with the skills and the mindsets that you're building up. And I'm really thankful for getting to be like someone who gets to hear those stories, and then someone who gets to be encouraging them along the way.
I think something that Amanda did really well from the very beginning was made me feel valued and as like a really integral part of this team. And I think that has really helped the success of our school, because I feel confident in taking more of a leadership role when she's not there, and like representing not only our school but also Teach for America. And I think that speaks to like the success, especially of this school at Mann, where our relationship was a little bit shaky. And then I think that's really helped build our relationship, because it's like I feel like I have ownership of my job.
That you just have to be really transparent with each other and know when to make something a big problem and when to just let it go. I firmly believe that we need to both be at both schools every single day. And usually one of us, well, I guess we always go to two different schools. So he'll go to Mann in the morning, I'll go to La Vista in the morning. Halfway through the day, we switch places. Sometimes we overlap a little bit in terms of being at one school, but I really do think that core members see us in the same light in terms of we're both there as a resource, we're both there to help them if they've got problems. And so them seeing Matthew at a school or them seeing me at a school, I think is just really critical. Some come in with a mindset that they are supposed to kind of carry out someone's vision, and that is in the vision of excellence, right, to carry out the SD's vision. But I think there needs to be a piece of it that no, you're a leader too, you're a teacher too, you represent our school too. And so I think coming in creating a partnership instead of a hierarchy, it's hard to do because it's natural. People naturally want to create the hierarchy in their head.
It would be detrimental to come into some position thinking that you're at the bottom of the totem pole, to think that your role is just to put up signs, your role is to hand things out in copies.
Yep.
But I think that if you come into your knowing what you want out of this as a leadership opportunity, I think that you should be pushing those conversations with your SD. You should be saying, actually, I hear what you're saying, but I think this might be a better option.
Create a partnership and see this as an extension, see the person really as an extension of you and your vision, and create a management system that allows management to flow both ways.
Really helpful, and just knowing that that she values me, I think is a big thing, because I don't think just our students, we don't tell them enough that we value them, and I think that's been made this summer special for me, because it's I feel I am making a difference.
The fact that I can just tell him here's what I'm thinking, what do you think, is this a good idea, and I really trust what he has to say in response, or even just we're in the car going from school to school, and we can have some really serious conversations about issues that are really important to our school, and yeah, so I mean it's just truly being able to have a conversation about anything, and trusting in needing his perspective. It's just been awesome to have.
I would agree with that. It's we can talk about the achievement gap in 1 minute and then laugh at something else another minute, and but still our focus has always been our school, and I think that's been the best thing about the summer, because it's it is my job for the summer, but it's also I've built relationships, I've made friends, and this is coming out of it, I feel we've done something special.